and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you a taco casserole or a taco dip. It is low carb and super delicious and perfect for this summer. We're going to jump right in and first prep all of our vegetables. So for this taco casserole, we're going to cook all of our ingredients first, and then we're going to bake it to make it nice and bubbly and cheesy and delicious at the very end. What you're going to need is half a red onion, some shallots, green and yellow bell pepper, and a jalapeno. So let's first prep our bell pepper. What you're going to want to do is dice the bell pepper because we're going to be sauteing it, like I said, and since this is a casserole or a dip, you don't want any long pieces of pepper in your dish. So we're just going to slice it like this and dice these. Do this for all of your bell pepper. If you'd like to purchase the knives that I use, I have my Amazon link down in the description below. I absolutely love these knives. I'm not sponsored by Global, but they have really, really high quality knives. And it's just a really good investment if you love cooking and you want a really sharp, good knife. Right, let's throw all of these into a bowl. Next, I'm going to dice my red onion. So a little trick is you want to keep this part of the red onion left on the onion because when you're trying to dice it, it'll keep everything together. So I'm just going to slice like this towards the end, but not all the way to the end. And now that I've cut it down this way towards the end, I'm going to turn the onion, and now you get perfectly diced pieces. I'm just gonna set all these onions aside in a separate bowl from the bell peppers. Next, we're going to cut our shallots. So I just wanna cut it this way, like horizontally. And I'm not gonna break these pieces apart. I want them to stay like this. The shallot adds some nice sweetness to the dish, sweeter than the red onion would. You could also use a yellow onion or a sweet onion, that is fine as well, but I like the flavor that the red onion gives, which is why I'm gonna be using it for this dish. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I post new videos every Tuesday and Thursday, and you guys will love these recipes. They're all low carb, super delicious recipes. Now, the last thing I'm going to prepare is my jalapeno. So by prepare my jalapeno, you don't want to just jump right in and slice it. What you want to do first is piss off the jalapeno. So you want to take the jalapeno and you want to rub it in between your hands like this. That gets all the oils from the seed out into the flesh of the jalapeno, and it makes it really spicy without having the seeds in it. It also breaks apart the seeds. So the seeds are really easy, like they fall out really easily when you slice into it. So I'm going to slice the top off. And then as you can see, when I flip over the jalapeno, all the seeds just fall out. So it not only makes the jalapeno spicier, but it also makes it much easier to clean. All right? And now that I've done that, I'm just going to now slice the jalapeno like this. If you don't want this dish to be super spicy, you guys know I love spice, so that's why I want to add these, but you can totally omit the jalapenos. We're not going to be cooking them. They're just for the decoration before we bake it. So you don't want it so spicy, you can totally skip the jalapenos. Now it's time to cook our ingredients. So I'm gonna be using a steel pan to cook this. However, you can use a non-stick or cast iron, whatever you want. And I'm going to be taking my favorite pork lard, which is by South Chicago Packing. I'm not sponsored by them, but they have the best products. And I'm going to just throw in the lard. The lard adds such delicious flavor to this dish. Just trust me on this, but you can also use avocado oil or olive oil, whatever your preference is. Now that that's melting down, I'm going to add in my red onion and shallots to cook them first. For the heat, I have it on medium-low heat. The steel pan gets really, really hot, so it's gonna be a little bit lower of a temperature than it would be if you're, using like a non-stick or a cast iron. I'm gonna add a little bit of adobo seasoning, just a bit. And saute this around. I want my onions and shallots to get nice and fragrant and slightly golden. We don't want them to cook all the way, otherwise they're gonna burn at the very end when you add all the rest of the ingredients. All right, my onions and shallots are cooking down nicely. I'm going to add in the bell peppers now. Now you're gonna wanna add your favorite taco seasoning. I like this one by Siete. Again, not sponsored, just really like this brand. But you wanna make sure that you're checking the back of the packaging to make sure that it is low carb. Sometimes they add a bunch of ingredients to the taco seasonings, and we wanna be really careful of that. So I'm gonna be using half of this package right now because we're gonna use the other half when we're cooking the ground beef. And I'm gonna mix this all together. And this is the mild taco seasoning. You wanna keep stirring and cooking the vegetables until the peppers are really, really soft. We basically want it to be fully cooked by the end. Our vegetables look good. Let's take them off of the pan because we're gonna cook the ground beef now separately. Back into the same pan, I'm going to add 80% lean ground beef. You can also use 85% lean, but you want it to have that fat in it. And I wanna get all this flavor that I have in the pan into the ground beef as well. Just going to break this meat apart and cook it completely. Let's add in our taco seasoning. I'm gonna use the entire remainder of the package. Now that my ground beef is almost fully cooked, I'm going to add back in the vegetables. All these flavors are gonna mix together and finish cooking. Just gonna combine everything so all the delicious flavor is all just mixing together. Everything is fully cooked. I've turned off the heat. Now let's assemble the casserole. It's time to layer our casserole. So the first thing we're going to do is take this delicious ground beef, bell pepper, onion taco that we made in our pan, and we're going to do a layer on the bottom of a baking dish. I'm using about half of what we cooked. Taking some Mexican blend shredded cheese, I'm going to do another layer of cheese. Now you can also use whatever kind of cheese you want. So you could use like a pepper jack, or you could use Colby jack. But I really like to use the Mexican blend because it has a mild flavor. It doesn't overpower the flavor of the meat. And just put as much cheese as you want. Now, for a touch of flavor, I'm also going to be adding a little bit of pork panko. This just gives kind of like a nice flavor to the dish, but you can totally omit this step if you don't want to add it. And we're just gonna add this to the middle layer. Now I'm gonna take the taco ground beef and pepper onion that we made and do another layer with that. And now another layer of the cheese on top. Again, as much or as little as you want. And the final step, again, you can totally omit this if you don't want this dish to be too spicy, but I'm gonna add a couple of slices of the jalapeno right on top of the cheese. Our dish is ready to go in the oven. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and we're gonna bake this for 15 minutes. Everything's already cooked. We just want that cheese to get nice and melty. I'll see you guys at the very end. It's been 15 minutes. This is our delicious, melty taco casserole. I cannot wait to dig in. Let's cut out a slice right here. I'm just gonna throw this onto a plate. So cheesy, it smells incredible. Now, you can enjoy this just as is and you can just eat it without anything. But what I like to do is I like to take some Mission Zero Carb tortillas and then I fry them in some lard, the same lard that I used earlier, and put some adobo seasoning on it. I've done it in some previous videos. It is just the perfect little chip and it's perfect. And I like to use this kind of like as a dip. So I am just gonna do exactly that. I'm gonna take some of my delicious taco dip casserole. We're gonna take a nice big bite. Cheers, guys. Absolutely delicious, so fragrant, and this is super nutritious. You have the ground beef, you got a bunch of vegetables in there. The seasoning is perfect. This is nice and cheesy, nice and hearty. Like I said, enjoy this as a dip, enjoy this as is. One of my favorite summertime recipes. Thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also hit that notification bell to never miss a tasty upload. Till next time.